Hello, everyone. This is Zeami from FilmFestivalCircuit.com and the Oregon Short Film Festival. And right now we're gearing up for our spring screening, which is going to take place on March 17th at the beautiful historic Clinton Street Theater in Portland, Oregon. And today I am talking with one of our participating filmmakers. Edgar Garcia Chavez is the writer, editor, producer, and director behind The Ghost of Recent Past. Edgar, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you, and always enjoy talking about film, and not only mine, but in general.
Totally.
And I'm glad to be part of the festival. I've been here a couple times before, and it's always been a very pleasant experience. With yourself, Simi, and Michael Farah usually prepare a very good event that allows a lot of networking and meeting with new people, and then just seeing great films. It's always great.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yeah, I should have mentioned you are an alumni to the film festival. You've made several great films before, and this is another great one. I want to know what inspired this film.
Uh, well, in this one, I have I'm original from Mexico, so when I moved here to Oregon, I find it interesting how um, there was not as much diversity, and I try to
Mhm.
look at it like, oh, what are the reasons when it happened, and then I find out that the very conception of the state, the Oregon Constitution, didn't allow black people specifically to own property.
Totally.
And so then I thought, it's like, oh, okay, how much of this um, history has been erased, or you don't really see that much, right? So I came out, I look into the that idea, that I found out that language was remain in the Constitution until 2012,
Right.
right? So a lot of people say, well, it was not enforced anymore, but it was still there, right? So that's kind of like the idea behind it. So it's like, in this case, like, we film in an old house,
Hmm.
and the idea is like a couple, like interracial couple. One is African American, and the other, the man and the woman is white. Moving to the house. The house is haunted with a ghost that died 100 years ago, right? So that ghost got stuck with the ideas of the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, it didn't that ghost didn't evolve. It didn't became you know evolve with the time, right? So when they
Right.
move in, the the male, the black person, uh, gets all these supernatural events happening to him only, and that's kind of the idea of like how prejudice or like racism still happens. And in this case, the white person doesn't believe it, right? Until
Right.
later on she's able to see it, and then you say, oh, okay, it's real, right? So that's
Right.
kind of like the idea, and I was trying to get it like with some kind of humor, and and just trying to tell the story in a different way, I guess. But that's basically the concept that I'm trying to show. There's all these ideologies and all these behaviors, or negative behaviors. They're still part of society in some ways.
Totally.
I think it's still valid to discuss and show it as well, right?
Right. Well, I think it's a great concept. And I love the way that you balance, these ideas that this old-seated racism is still kind of in the framework here, and it's been erased from Portland, which is considered this progressive mecca. But you balance that with great humor, and overall, it's funny from start to finish. And I'm curious, what was the writing process like? Kind of balancing a very lighthearted, funny film with this kind of real socio-political kind of message.
Well, in general, I mean, I like comedy is probably my favorite genre, right? I'm trying to
Okay.
see, and I think uh, tackling, to me, is like everything. I'm a firm believer of freedom of speech, right? So I think you should be able to tackle any topic,
Totally.
and I think humor sometimes gives that um, let's say license, like creative license, to push certain things to in another directions, right? So the process, I start more like serious as an idea, right? So it's like, okay, we have the Constitution, so this is like a very specific and um, relevant, or very important document, right?
Right.
There's a lot of things that I think politically sometimes it's like, oh, it's written is by the founding fathers or something like that, right? But people at the time, even to found the state, were just people, right? So it made
Right.
mistakes and make their ideologies, it cannot be frozen in time until now. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like
Totally.
they should evolve in some way. And I was trying to, see and then how that can be evolved in the idea of like um, these supernatural events happening, right? So how the ghost, will be because I always find interesting is like, well, obviously the idea of the ghost is a specific um, figure, but this person, well, the ghost in my film doesn't talk, right? It doesn't
Right.
have. Because I always find it not necessarily that it's taking something serious, and then it's like the idea of the ghost is like completely fictitious, or it could be right, like it
Right.
could exist, could not. And I was trying to add. I have a lot of ideas how that manifests, right? So I was trying to make it manifest through like regular things, like water, a glass of water, or
Right.
like I was thinking of marbles, like rolling. So there were
Right.
several
Totally.
ideas that didn't make it, and have the ping pong, right, or golf ball,
Right.
that just appears out of nowhere, right? So it's out of context, and I like the idea of I mean, I have all these ideas like actually go through walls and like, so once I start going through the process of, okay, well, how are we going to make it, how to actually make it, and then how to like uh, tone down all these ideas, right? And this
Totally.
idea, I mean, is plays a little bit with them sexuality as well, right? That
Right.
um, because that's that it's a play on the bedroom, but then it transforms. So I just have all these like things that are like I usually start with like basically brainstorming like all the overall structure, and then from there start narrowing down. Okay, how much I can do it because we filmed this ones in a couple days, right?
Mm.
So I was trying to. We had the house just for. Oh yeah, we have the house a couple days. So basically, one day was the first floor scenes, and the next day was just the bedroom.
Mm.
Um, and then so actually the idea started because I was invited. This is one of my friend's house. I was invited to her house or new house at the time, and I saw the house like, oh, this one has a lot of things already, and it's old and it's historical
Totally.
and that's one. I mean, I wrote the piece specifically for that house, right?
Mm. Okay.
Because there was um like the bedroom itself, it was like kind of small. It was like 12 by 12 or something like that, right?
Mm.
And I think, oh, maybe we can do the bedroom scene just in a different house. Um, but and I guess in looking back now, maybe we should have done that because it was too small, and it was a hot day, and
Oh,
uh,
totally.
it was it was a few things. Like there's a little confetti on the bed. It was get stuck on their actor's skin, and they were sweating, and all the kind of.
Totally.
But yeah.
Well, I love hearing about the process, and it's interesting to hear all the different ingredients that went into this. Idea ingredients that went into making this film. And I'm curious, what was the shooting process like? You've worked with some of these actors before, I believe.
Mhm.
What was the process like?
Uh, so I have we have auditions, right? So I have a few actors that I worked before, and I'm trying to say, okay, how much this one work, and I was trying to get this power balance, right? So I was looking in some ways for the actor to be a little bit shorter, and then if he in like the girl to be a little bit taller
Hmm.
with high heels, and so there's like a power dynamic
Okay.
that I thought would be visually interesting. And the other thing that was very helpful was trying to have rehearsals that really helped just for them to get to know each other, and then some intimate scene in a bed, right? So to
Totally.
have that work, and that really helped for them to get comfortable. And there was a dialogue as well, right? Because I told them that this is what I wrote and what I have idea, but they're like in my field, some says that you don't have to be specifically like
Okay.
word for word, right?
Right.
Trying to say sometimes something comes out spontaneously is fine, but at the same time, it's like I'm not expecting them to improvise the
Right.
whole thing or all the stuff because that's hard. Obviously, there
Right.
is a dynamic, and then they have to learn for the most part. But if they made a mistake or like something like that, it's just keep going, right?
Totally.
And things like wardrobe as well, right? We're trying to find out like what it works better, how they feel comfortable putting shirt on and off and that kind of stuff. Um, for the ghost itself, she couldn't come. he couldn't come to rehearsal, so we had to, and he sent his dimensions, but the day of the shoot, the dimensions he sent were too small. So we tried to then that day is make it work, right? Trying to find out, and a lot of the things. I got a great wardrobe person, Edward Lyon, that she was able to figure out how to do
Nice.
it, and trying to like, because once you're there, there's so many people involved. It's hard to have these elements to be not to stop the production, right? So
Right.
in some way, the show must go on, and trying
Totally.
to get, and then a lot of that is feedback as well, right? Basically for the actors and say, okay, go here. Sometimes I agree or not, or I'm trying to have an open mind and like come up with like listen to the ideas and see if that enhances or if we're trying to go that right. So it's not a complete um, or a finished product.
Totally.
And trying to like have that dialogue um, and a lot of and I think the final product I think is a result of all these steps, right? And then all this
Totally.
I always do a lot of pre-production to it and trying to foresee any issues that will come out and stuff. But the day of production, something the stuff
There's
doesn't
always
work
something.
out. There's always something. So
Yeah.
let's try to make it work. And then for the most part, it's a final product, right? So at least be able to finish it, and then I think that's um, the reward, right? To have
Totally.
starting with something very like abstract and an idea and all that, and it start transforming and evolving, and eventually comes down to a final product that you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Um, all the things that I was gonna mention, like it was that I started using AI for this
Oh,
project as well.
oh, really?
Yeah, but very very subtle. So now that I've seen, hopefully everybody that watched this already watched the film. uh, so there's one the scene at the bed. And probably if I point it out, you probably notice now. And when I look at the footage, the script was on the bed.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
So then, when obviously we cannot reshoot because everything like, I mean, obviously we don't have budget, we don't have, so we have to
Right.
figure out right. So how to do it. So that's one of the tools that I learned with After Effects and all that. And basically, what it does is creates a mask around the object, and it takes all the data around it and fills the gap
Oh, okay.
with that, right? So it's still not perfect. You can actually see it, but like being because the camera is moving, it's track. So it's smart enough to track the movement, but it's not like if I point it to you, you will notice.
Okay.
So there's a few things, and then there were other stuff that there was people where they have their arm sticking out a door frame or something like that,
Okay. Right.
and a few lights that you can see the. I didn't mind seeing the light source, but seeing the pole and that kind of
Oh,
thing.
right.
So
Well,
uh,
I didn't notice these things in the viewing. I felt like the film was engrossing, and these are just the fun Easter eggs.
mhm.
These are they're not distracting from the film, and therefore they don't inhibit the quality. These are just the little. Every movie has them, right? Even the biggest blockbuster, they got the Easter eggs. And I love your collaborative approach, and I feel like it really pays off because the chemistry between the two leads felt really natural. And I mean, I think it really gave a lot of weight to their, the power dynamics in the relationship, and makes it a little bit more human. I want to know, what are you working on next? Do you have any more shorts in the works?
um, I have a few projects, but I'm basically well. There's a few projects that I'm helping with. One is called Lulu's Clubhouse, and it's drag queen talk show.
Oh,
So
cool.
similar to like Peewee's Clubhouse kind of thing. So I'm
Okay,
helping with
yeah.
that. So I'm helping with that one. But the one that I'm working the most, I did a feature film.
Oh, nice.
Is called The Subcontractors. So this is based on a true story that happened in China. There's this developer that hates his other developer, so decides going to kill him, and obviously, right, the only
Right.
solution. Uh, so so he hires a hitman to do the job, right? And so that's hitman number one. So hitman number one hires hitman number two, half price to do the job. Two hires the third, half price to the job. Third hires the fourth, and it goes on like that, right? So that's kind of the premise of the
Okay, I love
story,
that.
right? Yeah.
And did
So
you say you what's your how far are you with that feature?
So it's a shutter already, so it's in post
Okay.
production.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I have I started like looking at all the raw footage and like I started like putting together, but it still needs, audio needs to be clean and
Right.
get music for it and uh, effects and so there's things that takes time to do, right? But yeah, so I'm trying to hopefully maybe have at least like a rough cut like in a couple months or something like that, and
Awesome.
then we'll decide. I don't know, probably trying to find out how to do distribution and
Right.
those kind of things. And
That's so exciting. Is this your first feature?
yeah, that's my first. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Well, congratulations on getting it shot,
Oh,
and
thank you.
I wish you all the best in the post production process.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, is there anything else you'd like to add about the Ghost of Recent Past?
Well, in general, I hope that people like obviously likes it, and hopefully it opens like a path for dialogue and discussion,
Totally.
right? So I definitely see that people would not like certain things or something like that, and it's completely fine. Um, Hopefully, I mean, always trying to um, get feedback, right? If anyone see it, have any comments, suggestions, or like it or not, it's like let me know, and hopefully, if people see, I'm trying to see. So I have the structure, right, and I explain what I was thinking. It's like
Hmm.
I wonder if people like reading that that idea, right? Or
Right.
if you got a different approach or they see something else, right? Because one
Totally.
of the things that I was now looking back, I think so I put the idea of the Oregon Constitution, and then
Hmm.
I'm like zooming to the paragraph,
Right.
but it was written like in a cursive or whatever. So now I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should have like written down with just like Times New Roman or
Oh, easier to read.
easy to read, and I think probably a little bit longer. So I'm thinking maybe
Okay.
that's one of the things that because I think it kind of gets lost now that I'm looking back. But obviously there's a lot of things that I can
Totally.
in the editing process. It's like but in general, it's like I mean, hopefully, obviously, the people watch it, see it, and then have some feedback. So that's what I like the festivals, right? That you can go and see all these amazing
Right.
films and people that are actually. Uh, like films, like short films as well, because it's hard to see them in general,
Right.
and then you just have a feedback and see how uh, they react to it, what they like, what they don't, right? So it's a lot of um, uh, it's not a one size fit all, right?
Right.
Fits all. That like people will have different interpretations and different ideas and what it was uh, good or what it was bad, and But I always try to say it's like if you make a film, that's good in itself.
Right.
It's
Just
like
the
that's the
completion of it is an achievement.
Yeah, definitely. You just have like, something out and like always try to like share it and like try to see other um, yeah how people like receive it. So it's like you like it or not. At least you watch it and then hopefully creates a starting point, right? I think
Totally.
for discussion, dialogue, or anything you can any feedback, right? I think is well received.
Well, I think that's a great attitude to have going in, and I do really think the audience is going to love it. And I think the fact that it is about Oregon and based in Portland, and it's for Portlanders who are watching it, it's a familiar setting, the old Portland houses, and the kind of this history and the idea of these ghosts. That I think it's really going to resonate with people on March 19th. Sorry, March 17th at the
Mhm.
Oregon Short Film Festival, and I'm really looking forward to playing it on the big screen.
Oh, great. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it should be pretty fun. Able to see
Totally.
it and
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Edgar, thank you so much for talking to me, and thank you for submitting to our festival once again with an
Oh, thank
excellent
you.
film.
Yeah, I always have a pretty good time and looking forward to see you guys again and see all pretty amazing films too.
Excellent. Well, I'll see you there. Take care.
Okay, bye. Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.